This is episode 84 of the Book Cross Anime. Hello everyone, I'm Mario and
I'm Whooper.
I'm Whooper. This week we're gonna start the new season of winter season. Second episodes of uh, basically everything. Ezuken, Niwa, Tewo, Dasuna. Episode 2 of ID Invaded because one of us haven't finished the third episode.
That was me.
Episode 2 and 3 of Magia Record, and episode whatever 15 I think of Chihara Furu.
14, I think.
14, sorry, so
Right.
you got 14. And the last 4 episodes of M for the Ice.
Yeah, buddy. We're done.
Right.
Well, we're done with the 1973 or 1974 version, whatever year it was.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
not the sequel or anything, but
And it ended midway, but
it did.
Um,
I mean, but I think they found a good place to end it, right?
yeah, that's right. That's what I was about to say.
She was selected for the what region are they in? South Kanto, I think. Southern
Yeah.
Kanto. I think that's what
Yeah,
they
they say
say.
that.
Okay.
We will tackle that so later on though. Now let's start with on the current seasonal shows.
All right. Where are we starting?
Alright, I think we can go with My Gear Record 2
Okay.
and 3.
Great. How do you?
So,
I know you didn't like episode 2 very much, right?
it's alright. 3 also is alright. Like I still intriguing by the show. It's not much that I hating the show or anything. I just find like the new characters not that engaging for me.
Were the characters that engaging in the original though?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more about like the mystery of it all and the just the drama as well. Like,
Mhm.
will she become a magical girl or won't she? You know,
Yep.
there was that tension, kind of blanketing the entire thing. Whereas in this one, they're all magical girls already, and there's like an amnesia plot. You know,
Yep. But there's
which has
still,
already been mostly resolved.
but there's still some mystery regarding in the story, especially regarding Iroha little sisters, Ui.
Yeah, she has the same name as the little sister from K-On!
I know. And I was like, what if like the main girl from K-On! Oh, I don't remember her name either. Become a magical girl and have her sister disappear like this.
Or maybe Ui in K-On! Is actually Iroha's little sister from Magia Record.
Oh my god.
And the reason she's missing is because she was transported into the KyoAni dimension.
All right. See, it's
Forever
like,
settling the KyoAni versus Shaft wars of the 2010s.
all right. It's just my personal opinion, but she like the best little sister that anyone should have.
Who,
She-
Ui?
We.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, her older sister is a scatterbrained idiot, and she would be dead without Ui.
Oh my god! Like the one time that her older sister, what's her name again?
In K-On!?
In K-On! Yeah.
Dude,
So
I
we're
forget.
off track of it. The one time that she got sick and Ui came to replace her in her sister form. She played the note perfectly that every member of the band was surprised, and they tell right away that it's not that is Ui who played the guitar.
Oh, it's Yui.
Yui, alright, Yui.
Yui and Ui.
Oh, Yui and Ui. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Alright, let's get back to my record.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Like when I watched episode 2, I thought, Oh, I don't know what Mario was complaining about. Like it's all right, you know. It's fine. We got some new characters showing up. There's still a bit of a mystery here to solve. But episode 3, you know how episode 2 kind of concludes with the fight between Reina and Kaide, the blue
Yep.
haired and the brown hair from that that trio of girls.
Yep.
They're on that bridge, and there's like their shadows are being cast um, by the light outside, and they're both arguing, for some silly reason. I can't remember exactly what the fight was about. Uh, Whatever. And then there's those little chains that are kind of like swimming through their shadows. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's a nice little bit of imagery there. Like kind of like maybe their hearts are like in constricted or something. Like they can't be open because they have this emotional issue. And then in episode 3, like we immediately move to Kaide being like having vanished.
Yep.
We don't really get to see that. She's just gone. That's how episode 3 opens up. And
Yeah.
I was kind of thrown by that. Like there was no proper conclusion or even like severance of their friendship in
All
episode
right.
2.
I think I did expect that. I did expect that like she was gone. She was uh, kidnapped in a way
But but
by the
their
witch.
argument at the end of episode 2 didn't really come to a head. It didn't come to like a dramatic point where you might expect in episode
The
3 they could pick up with Kaide being gone.
Yeah, the my concern was, like they deal with that like directly, like they just, for me, it would take more time to get like all the events sinking in for me. Here we have like they tackle that right away, and like at the end of the episodes, she was rescued.
Yep.
They being friend again.
Well,
Um,
naturally.
yeah, well,
I mean, they want a whole episode. They got to be
yep.
friends again.
I do think though that this series deal a lot with friendship. Um,
Um, yeah,
so
I suppose.
so we got that one as like the central motive for friendship, and then we got like we uh friends.
Oh yeah, the two like genius girls from the
Yeah,
hospital.
yeah. They when they were bickering around, they were say something about not being friend with each other and stuff as well.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't that was the opening scene of episode 3, right? Was the dream
Yep, yep, yep.
in the hospital. I hated that little CG train thing. That
Oh
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was
That's
driving through like the all the books.
yep.
I thought that whole sequence looked so ugly.
I have the same feelings. So that CG was standing out, but other than that though, I think like on the scene regarding the witch the witch battle was really good.
I have some problems with that as well.
All right.
Like I don't know. I just feel like there's something different about the labyrinths in Magia Record as compared to Madoka Magica.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's something that's not quite right about them to me. Like in the one in episode 2, for example,
Right.
um, that's the one where there's a whole bunch of yarn. It's like a yarn world,
Right.
and I never feel as though the characters are actually located in the backdrop that's on screen. Like the way that their feet are placed on it, it doesn't feel like they're composited onto the image in a way that makes them like occupy that space.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, perhaps it's just the way that the characters were framed. Like maybe in the original series, the characters' feet weren't depicted so plainly in open space. Maybe they were always shot from an angle that kind of
Mm-hmm.
obscured how they were standing.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of anime do that, like they won't show the character's feet. Um, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like it's that's like the toughest part of making your character appear to inhabit the frame that they're in
Mm-hmm.
is how they're standing in it. So I don't know. It's just like I don't have any data, or like screenshots to compare the two or anything, but I never really get the feeling that they're like in the labyrinth. And that feeling is really important in this kind of series because it's like a foreign a strange and foreign and like hostile place where anything could happen. And your suspension of disbelief is really critical to those scenes actually working.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Anyway, I don't really like the labyrinths as much in this one.
All right. I just feel funny when you say that you feel that something is wrong with the way they do it because I think that's supposed to be the way that way.
I don't mean that I feel like the tension of the scene or that I feel
Yep.
something bad is going to happen or
Yep.
like I feel as though something is wrong with
Production.
with the artistry of it.
Yep. 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 I understand. Um, there's still a lot of mystery though. So not only for the existence of we, is for some reason that that district the Kamihami city have a lot more powerful witch and at the end of episode 3 we find out that they not necessarily are witches. Yeah,
Right.
maybe something else because they don't have like the cliff seat. Um, we see a little QB again,
Mm-hmm.
and
Just for a moment, and then it like fades out of existence while sitting on Iroha's shoulder.
yeah, that she the only one who can see it though, and
Yeah,
us
and QB doesn't even like.
speak talk or anything.
Well, I mean, the big QB who she talks
Oh
to
yeah, yeah,
in her hometown says, "Oh no, there's nothing. I don't know anything about that. There's no. I don't think there's anything like that.
right,
There's no
right,
little me.
yep.
You know."
And the normal QB can't even enter the city.
Ah, so you saw the post-credit scene.
I did.
I was gonna ask you about that. Mario, did you
Uh,
see the post-credit scene? Did you watch to the end?
yes, I did, and surprise,
Very good,
surprise.
very good. Yeah,
um,
and what's her face? Mommy is
Mommy
back,
is back. I like
even though
it.
she's dead.
Not sure how we'll see how big of a role she play in the series though.
I mean, people
Speaking
who
of
have
that,
what?
so speaking of that, like the first the original season, she only appeared in the first 3 episodes, and now she appear in the end of episode 3. So
Yeah, I'm sure
I
that
think
was
that fit.
intentional.
Yep.
That was definitely intentional. As for how big a role she'll have, I've talked to people who have played the mobile game, and apparently all the original characters from Madoka are just like side characters in
All
this
right.
show. So I don't think she's gonna take over or anything. We're gonna get more adventures of Reina and Kaide and Momoka and stuff.
Yep.
Momoka being the blonde girl, who's kind of like Mommy's replacement, sort of, because
Momoka.
she's
All right.
yeah, she's the blonde girl in the new series, and
Mhm.
she's kind of like the leader a little bit.
She's supposed to be really popular. Like everyone look up to her.
Right.
Even Reina always always disguise herself as Momoko when she's sad.
Yeah. I
Um,
did catch that line. I just, I wonder why that is. Just
yep.
because it
Hmm.
makes her feel like more confident or something
Right.
to transform
I
into like an older, seemingly happier girl.
Yep. I I think it's interesting to think like what Rena wish what her wish were what Rena wish was since he can transform into like other characters. So it yeah, I wonder like what did she wish for and what the reason why she wanted to become a magical girl in the first place.
I thought we learned about her wish. I mean, I
I
know
didn't know.
Kaide's wish was the family garden or
Oh
something.
right. Yep.
But
That was
I
a
thought
fight.
yeah, they were fighting about that because she calls it stupid.
Yep.
I was actually kind of impressed with the way that she didn't like back down after she said that. I was expecting her to say, "Oh, your wish was stupid. You became a magical girl from nothing," and then Kaide would be like, "But what do you mean?"
Yeah.
And I thought she would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and they would have like a little cute moment or something. But they really,
Well,
she was really like, if anything stupid, it's your wish. Like that's the definition of stupid.
yep. Well, you have your way in the end of episode 3.
Yeah. What do you mean that they?
Yeah, it's when Rena basically just apologize and
Yeah.
they be friends again.
Yeah, and I did think that I mean, I was assuming that the resolution was going to come immediately and that they weren't going to get into that fight.
Yep.
And I thought it was probably going to be like too cute and too sweet,
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think that did end up being a problem in episode 3. Like I didn't feel as though the I mean, and I think the one of the reasons I feel this way is because there's kind of a gap between the end of episode 2 and episode 3 when Kaide's already gone.
Mhm,
I just
mhm,
I just feel like the schism between the two was not deep enough, I suppose.
mhm.
Um, and then additionally, like it's too easy when they become friends again. Like it coincides too directly with the witch being destroyed or
Right.
whatever that thing is.
Right.
That big bell.
Yep.
Um,
But
I don't know. I just don't feel a lot of emotional realism here.
yep. Let's just get back to the topic. You were saying that you know what Rena's what her wish was.
Oh,
Right.
I don't remember. I thought there was a line of dialogue about it, but
Yeah. I don't recall that either.
yeah,
Um. Right.
I don't know.
Yep.
I'm
Um.
I'm pretty mixed on this show. Like I'm
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, I'm feeling like more of a thumbs down than a thumbs up
All
after
right.
these 2 episodes.
I'm not that negative about the show. I'm feeling more or less so about the show right now. I still like the atmosphere. I still like that the show have like many questions um that I want to see the answer for. Um, I I like it when the old characters come back. Making an entrance. So yeah, I'm not that negative about the show. I just don't know what to talk about it.
Well, we just talked about it for like
How
15 minutes or
long?
something. Yeah,
Good.
that's probably enough.
All right. Good. I was about to mention like we have another new characters in episode 3,
We
but
do?
we have like one of the girl.
Oh, yes, like the gray-haired girl who can
Mhm.
do stuff with your soul gem or something.
Yeah. That's right.
To me, that just seemed like something from the mobile game because her
All right.
role was to like increase the strength of your soul gem or tweak it in some way. That just seems like a video game mechanic. Like, oh, we're
Oh,
gonna increase the power of your soul gem so that you can go into this new area, Kamihama City. Time to move to the next level.
cool.
I didn't think much of her.
All right.
I mean, but I'm sure she's important in some way to the story. I don't know.
Yep. All right. Let's get to the next show then. I think let's go with ID invaded or Edo invaded. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there's the whole pun about like Ido being the id, the part of your consciousness,
Yep.
and also Ido being the Japanese word for well, which is
Huh.
why they call it the well that he like dives into.
Right. So
but we can call it whatever we want. Like, it's kind of easier to say ID invaded.
Yeah. Um, how you feel about the first two episodes? Would I think serve as the introduction to the whole show?
Right. Yeah, well, we were supposed to watch episodes 2 and 3, but I didn't do that because I didn't allocate my time very well. But I'm glad at least that episode 2 like concludes on a very definite note, so it's easy to remember,
Right.
like, you know, where episode 2 stops, because like you said, it is kind of a 1 hour beginning. I mean,
Yeah.
they released the first 2 episodes at the same time, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah. So I mean, I really liked the first episode a lot, and then
Mhm.
you did not like it very much, I don't think.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that was a mess.
yeah. Well, I mean, I enjoyed the second one just as much. The main thing I
Mm.
like about it, which I'll just briefly say before letting you, you know, give
Yep.
your opinion, is I really like the sense that this is a world in progress.
All
Like
right.
when you start watching this show, it's clear that the characters have, you know, the characters are pretty thin, but they do have their own existing relationships.
Mhm.
You know, like there's already tension between, for example, the field agent and the boss of the crime unit, you know, whatever they are.
Mhm. Mhm.
And he's talking about how they ought to have these licenses to carry pistols and how he doesn't value their lives enough. Um, like the scene where the head investigator comes in and talks to Sakaido in the
Mhm.
chair. It's clear that they have a bit of history together, and the
Mhm.
reveal that he's a criminal. Like, this is like kind of psychopath territory where they're
Mhm.
using criminals in order to hunt other criminals. Um, there's some kind of history there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Sakaido had been apprehended originally by that dude, Momoki, I think his name was.
Yep.
Um, and I just feel as though the world of the show is pretty well realized, so it doesn't feel like these episodes have to build it up. They're not creating something out of nothing and we're watching as it's happening. Instead, it already exists.
Mhm.
And I think that's accomplished like through dialogue. They're using terms that we're not familiar with, and we have to understand we have to pick up on their meaning as we go.
Mhm.
I'm a fan of that sort of scripting.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'll just say that to begin with. How did you feel about this episode?
All right. I find it very interesting that this is more like the kind of show that me personally would get stuck into, and you the one who will like saying like that is no story at all. I don't like it. You have to develop the characters before have getting us to care about the world before expanding the world, blah blah. And now we got like the opposites. Um, so after the first two episodes, in that case, I still feel that this is a mess. I feel that all they a bit try overselling the world, more like they had some technobabble. They they just trying to sound smart basically for me. Um, the character, especially when it concerned to the rookie field analyst, Hondomachi, the girl. I
Right.
feel remember her.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like this case when it involved her, it's a bit wonky. Like
Yeah, how was she able to survive a hole getting drilled in her head?
she actually actively trying to get herself screwed, her head
Right.
screwed.
But
My God.
we didn't actually see a hole in her head, right? Like
We didn't see that,
at the end, the field
but
agent dude who was trying to rescue her kind of brushes her hair a little bit, but he doesn't reveal a hole. I don't know,
well,
like,
I think that implied that she did because the reason why she did that so that Sadako can can dwell into her world.
Yeah.
So I think that it is implied that she got her forehead drilled by the guide
Well,
and she
I mean,
survived.
yeah, I think she did. I think she did get drilled because um, she says to him, "You're right. You don't die right away."
Yep.
So that that implies that she had the procedure done to her. I guess procedure. She got
Yep.
a hole drilled in her head, and then she found that he was right, and that she didn't, you know,
Yep.
she
And I
didn't pass away
remember.
immediately. But
Yep. Hmm.
she wouldn't have needed the hole to be drilled in her head in order for Sakaido to enter her consciousness. It's just because it's the particles, like
Yep.
the murderous intent, the
Yep.
particles that make up that feeling. That's what he dives into. So if she like approached, if she wanted to die, if she
Yep.
wanted to kill herself by like, you know, pushing her own head into the drill, as ridiculous as this all sounds, it's
Yep.
only that feeling from her that he would need to enter her consciousness. So she didn't necessarily need to have the hole drilled in her head for that to happen.
Well, I think
I
that's true.
I think she probably did just because of
Um,
other like the way the episode went on.
yep.
But
I remember when the team coming to rescue her and when the team come to rescue her, I remember there was a an injury, like a blood stream down from her forehead. So I think
yeah, I remember
she
the blood. Yeah,
yep.
I just don't know if like a hole went all the way through her head. Like this guy. Do you remember the one shot
Yeah.
of
The back of
the
his
where,
head.
yeah, you see Hondomachi through the hole in his head.
Yep.
I that shot creeped me out.
Yeah. How can they survive that? But
I don't understand how. Well, how is he still alive?
yeah,
I mean,
he said like he said that as well. He said like you would think that people died right away from that, but nope. I survived.
yeah, I don't really. There seems to be some sort of like minor supernatural aspect to it, I guess,
Yeah.
which is how he's still alive. Like his face, half of his face, is just scars. It's just like the skin is gone.
Yep.
Um,
All
and then
right.
there's the whole thing with what was it, Jack Walker?
Yeah. I was meant to ask about him as well. Jack. I think his name is Jack Walker.
So he's the actual villain, I suppose, because he is invading people's consciousness
Yep.
and kind of encouraging them, I guess, to become serial killers.
Right.
And that's going to be the major story, I
Um,
guess.
I'm not sure if this bit of information was from the second episode or the third one. So they when they talking about him, Chuck Walker, they said like he might be just he might be not real. Is that from the second episode?
I don't think I remember hearing a line like that in
No.
episode 2, although it could have come from episode 2. I don't really know.
Right, because
Maybe it did, because there was a lot of dialogue in the second half
yep,
of the second episode. Once Sakaido is pulled out of the well, and
right.
there's like all the meetings between Sakaido and Momoki, and then between Momoki and the boss, the white-haired guy.
Is that Momoki's? I think the Momoki is the boss. No.
Well, Momoki is the head of like the tactical unit that's actually on the floor. He's the one who's like,
Oh, right.
give everyone except for these two people start focusing on this bit of information, like but the boss, the old guy with the beard,
Yep. All right.
um he's somebody else. Momoki is the guy with the black hair.
Yep. I remember there was a very wonky scenes in the second episode when Sakaido met Jack Walker and get into the fight. He tried to punch him and he did. And like the guy that guy just shot off fall down without any without even putting a fight. and Saikaido were very surprised, and he said like maybe I'm just OP overpowered, and like that the whole scenes it just feel really off the wall for me.
I do remember that. Maybe I'm just. He does say maybe I'm just OP.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, I do remember that. I didn't think much of it for whatever reason.
Right.
Probably because whenever he dives into somebody's consciousness, he completely forgets who he is. Like it's a big mystery to him. All he remembers is that he's like the world's greatest detective or something. That's
Yep.
the only part of his consciousness that survives. That he
And
needs to solve a mystery.
um
So I mean, it's through that lens. Anything that happens in the world, in the well,
yep.
has its
Um
own weird logic to it. So like literally anything could happen. I assume it's like
right.
flip flappers, bro.
Huh.
That anything
um
anything can happen, and you just go, well, I guess this is happening now.
yep. Well, there are there are two things that Saikaido, when he entered the world, he will remember. First is he's like the the talent detective,
Yeah.
and second is he had to solve the murders of a girl named Keru. So every time he enter, he will see like a dead girl, a dead corpse, and her name is Keru.
Right, but that's different from his daughter, right?
That's different from his daughter. They explain that a bit in the third episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing all the photos of his daughter in his cell
Yep.
in episode 2, and her name
Mhm.
was like Muru or something.
Yep. Like,
Uh,
yep.
but I who is Kaide exactly?
Have no Carol or
Oh, Kaido. Yeah, yeah. My
um.
bad.
Yep. Not really sure. From a bit of information of episode 3. It's not really a spoiler, so I'm gonna say that. She seemed to be like a friend of his daughter.
Huh. Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
why it
that's
makes such
interesting.
an impact to him that every time he enter the well he will see her.
I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe she's related to Jack Walker,
Maybe.
and that's why she exists in the consciousness of
Yep.
different people.
Yep. Yep.
Because
That's right.
he's been in all these people's consciousness as well.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm just very intrigued, like by all this stuff. I just want to try to figure it out and learn more.
Yep. So you should watch the third one then. The third one have like another independent case, but it still tackles some of these the main mysteries, and especially about Saikaido, like past.
Right. That sounds good. That sounds good to me, man. Like
Uh,
I mean, I guess I can understand why someone would find this to be messy.
mhm.
Probably because it has an established world already, and you're just kind of thrown into it.
Mhm.
Um, but I can dig that if the world is interesting to me. If there seems to be some sort of logic to it, and the characters really seem to exist within it, like they have roles in the show that make sense, and they have relationships to one another in the show that make sense, even if they are kind of taking a back seat to like the show explaining itself. Um, it's all in the end. It's all just opinion. Like it's all just whether something appeals to somebody or not.
Right.
Um,
I
but
will
I
wait. I will
what?
wait until you finish watching the third episode, because for me, like the last 5 minutes of episode lost me.
Oh, of episode
Uh,
3.
yep. I want to hear your thought about that.
Okay, it lost you, huh?
Mhm.
What do you mean? Like it was just so shitty that you were like, I don't care anymore, or
Uh,
you were just like, I'm so confused.
it had a lot of conversation during that time. One guy tried to convince the others of their worldview, and I thought to myself that bullshit.
Okay. Well, we shall see. You
Yeah,
know,
we shall
I
see.
mean, I really liked episode 2. I guess because it was a continuation of episode 1, it felt very similar. I also think the animation is surprisingly good in this show.
I would say
There's not a
that,
lot
yeah.
of flashy movement, I suppose, but I don't know, just little scenes like where a character is in profile and they turn their head to look at somebody. Those scenes, like, they look pretty good, and I'm surprised by that because this studio is not known for their
Hmm.
like their good animation. I was trying to think of a flashier way to say that, but they're known for putting out like doo doo
Yep.
usually. I don't know. It's all about the staff. Maybe there's like
Yep.
they just have some strong animators on the staff that the director was able to contact. I don't know.
All right. All right. I guess it's time for us to tackle the next show then.
Okay.
Um, Ezoken, Chihara. Let's go with Ezoken.
Okay. Keep your hands off Azoken,
Yep.
or don't mess with the Motion Picture Club, or Azoken ni wa te wa dasu no, or whatever it is in Japanese. There's a lot of titles.
All right. Is that the second one? The actual title. That's the
What do you
first time
mean?
I heard of that.
Don't mess
The
with the Motion Picture Club?
yeah.
That's like a literal translation of the Japanese title.
Right.
Keep your hands off Azoken is like a localization.
Yep.
But don't mess with the Motion Picture Club is the meaning of the title.
Right.
And I'm watching like the subs that I'm watching. Good Job Media. It's like a subgroup. It's
Yep.
not Crunchyroll or Funimation. That's how they translated it. Don't mess
Oh.
with the or
Yep.
maybe it was don't mess with the Motion Picture Society. It's the same
Right.
thing.
Yep.
Anyway, I thought this episode was great.
Yep. Me too.
It was easily the best of the four.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I also really liked ID Invaded second episode, but
Mhm.
you know, episode 2 of Azoken, I like This is a show where you just have to love the characters. They're
I
so
agree.
the
Yep.
dialogue is like their designs are so great. The voice acting is so great. The dialogue is off the charts. Like it's just so fun.
Yep. Well, so far, so fun.
Yeah, I mean we're only 2 episodes in, but they'll probably stick to a similar
I
uh, blueprint for
Yep.
most of the following episodes.
I heard from one source now that USA, the reason that he picked this manga as his project is that he just searches up online to see what people saying about him, and he see one comment that said that he should adapt it this manga. So he tried out and apparently he did that.
Yeah, I've seen that too. But honestly, I think that story is giving a little bit too much credit and attributing like too much power to fans, I suppose, who just
Yep.
make random innocuous comments online.
Yep.
Uh,
I think
it's
so.
not as though he saw that comment and then read the manga and was like, "Oh, this anonymous person was totally right. I'm gonna do this now because they said so." I mean,
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yep.
I'm sure he gave it much more thought than that.
Right. Well, whatever he decided to do, I'm glad that he did adapt this because yeah, the first 2 episodes have been really fun.
Yeah.
What is your favorite character now out of the 3 girls?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I like all of them, honestly. I think, honestly, I really like Mizusaki.
All right.
She's the rich girl.
Yep.
I just like how she's always smiling, or whenever she asks a question, she's always doing it like good naturedly.
Yep.
She sometimes will say stuff like, "Oh, so the backpack that you got must have cost like 100,000 yen, right?" you said you spent all your New Year's money, uh, and Asakusa will be like, no, I spent a grand total of what did she say?
I think 200.
Wasn't it 21,000?
All right, yeah.
Meaning she got like $200 for New Year's,
Yeah,
something like that.
that's a reasonable actually.
Um,
Actually,
like
still have something for the new year.
yeah, the reason I like Mizusaki, I guess, is because she does embody that rich girl stereotype that you get from a lot of anime, but she's not like that much of a princess. Like
Uh,
she still gets really. I mean, obviously she's really wealthy and everything,
yep,
and so she has a different perspective than the other girls. But she's friendly, and she gets really excited, along with Asakusa, who's so different from her.
yep.
They both get really excited about like animation and the creative process, and when they find the animation, what is it called? The animation camera, they call it, like
Yeah.
the multi-tiered filming station,
Yeah.
which I thought was really cool.
Mhm.
Like they both get really excited about that. I don't know. I think she's a very enthusiastic and fun character to watch. How about you? Who's your favorite?
Well, talking about her, I, I just love the fact that the next day when they come into the base, there already the sofa sitting there. She was like, yeah, the sofa, it's just sitting there on in my house. No one use it at all, so I just bring it in.
Yeah.
See, definitely the most snapshot able characters. Like I think I took a lot of snapshot out of her characters just because she looked good.
Who,
Uh,
Mizusaki?
yeah, Mizusaki.
Oh no, the character who's the most like screen capable is Asakusa.
Uh,
She has the most expressive face. Like
yeah.
the
Well.
I really enjoy how sometimes her face gets kind of squished, so it's not a circle anymore.
Mhm.
When she's like caught in a lie,
Yep.
or when she's like grimacing at something or cringing or whatever. Like
Or
her
fall
face
fall
will.
down from the stair. Oh, not from the stair, from the second floor.
Yeah. There, like her face will kind of get squished and will become like an oval. Her cheeks will kind of puff out. Uh, her eyes will kind of get narrow, and it's just real. Like she's very expressive.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, Mizusaki is obviously the best looking. If that's your criteria for when you're going to take a picture of somebody.
Yep. But the one who write the story so far is the middle girl. I will call her Kanamori or Sayaka. Kanamori.
Kanamori. I
Yep.
mean, they're all using each other's last names at this point.
All right. She's the one who created that club. She the one who talk her to talk herself and themselves into
Getting a
in,
desk.
yeah, that's right, getting a desk. Is she the one who actually got some fund, actual fund, from the video that she took, and
Oh
she
yeah, yeah,
got
that's
she
right.
got a lot of ideas. So she the one who make all these things happen, even
Yeah,
though that she
she's
know
the
nothing
producer.
about anime. Yeah, that's right.
At one point in the episode, she thinks to herself, and we can hear her thoughts. Like, well, I guess I'll just let them run wild for now, just to see what kind of talent they have.
Yep.
That's during the scene, which is I think my favorite part of the episode, when they're all sitting on the sofa
And
or this.
discuss about what to do next.
Right. Dude, I love so much when she comes in, and she's always got that frown on her face, and she's kind of
Yep.
grumpy, and
Yep.
she's like, "Oh, I don't approve of people trying to make a party out of everything."
Mhm.
And then she says, "Oh no, but look, we've got croquets from the bakery, and here's this brand of milk that you really like. And she was like, oh, never mind, this was an excellent idea. She's just so in it for herself. Like
You,
as soon as she sees that these things that she like this delicious food and drink that she really loves,
yeah,
they're here. She immediately changes her mind just because it's all about whether she is satisfied or not.
right.
Some good
Yeah,
writing right there, man. It
yep. I
speaks
love
to
her
her
characters.
character.
I love all these characters. If even when Ashakusha just nearly blow herself off of telling the teacher that they're making an anime.
Yeah. Yeah, the nice thing about that scene is that how she says, "Oh, don't worry, guys, I got this handled."
Yep.
I'll be able to convincingly lie to the teacher. She starts off really well,
Hmm.
and then the she doesn't blow it like by the teacher questioning her, and like her being like, I don't know, I'm so nervous, and then she blurts out the truth.
Uh,
It's way more just like the teacher just asks the question, well, why would you need a lighting table? And she was like, well, to make anime, of course. Whoops.
oops. All right. That
it's
girl.
just so it's just so much more interesting to watch than like the normal character is under pressure in a conversation and like nervously blurts out the truth for the millionth time. you
Yeah.
know Instead we get like a conversation that seems as though it might happen in real life, perhaps.
Yeah. And
Maybe.
then we got like a teacher who appoint himself as um,
Like the club advisor.
the club advisor. By I think he quoted something. I'm not really sure.
I don't remember exactly what it is you're talking about. I remember him saying, well, I mean, my subs were different from yours to begin with.
Yep.
Is the reason that you think he quoted something because of that shot of the three girls with like the thought bubbles
Yep.
where they were thinking?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't get that impression from that scene. I thought that they were thinking of those historical figures because of his beard.
Oh. Right.
Um, Although I don't know that for sure. I didn't go
Mhm.
and look up who those people were. You know,
Interesting.
but I think that the like that moment when they those thought bubbles pop up. I think that's before whatever quote he makes. I don't
Hmm.
know though.
Hmm.
We didn't get much of him.
Yep. Well.
We got enough of him for him to leave the three girls in this really rickety looking old building that's super dangerous.
Right.
When Kanamori got the film of uh, Asakusa falling, I thought she was going to blackmail the school.
Yep.
That's immediately where my mind went. But she did not do that. And one of the teachers actually tells her, hey, don't sell that footage,
Yep.
which
That's
she
him. I
does
think.
anyway. That's who?
That's him. That's the teacher.
Well, that was the teacher with the glasses who they
Yeah.
originally talked to about setting up the club. That wasn't the bearded guy.
Oh, right, right. Mm. Just having my water.
Yeah, I heard.
Um, you have anything else that you want to add for Eishoken?
I mean,
It's,
the scene where they find the animation camera is really interesting.
that's
Like the
right.
little thing near the floor that reflects the light
Yep.
um, underneath the cells. I've always been curious about it because, like, for example, in Aim for the Ace, and other series from the '70s that we've watched, it's clear that it's actual light that's being filmed. It's not
Mm.
some effect. Uh,
Mm.
it's not drawn or animated or anything like that. So I was always wondering, physically, where do they place the light in order for it to, you know,
Mm.
to be reflected on the cells that way and to capture it with the camera. And apparently it's that little thing near the floor and it bounces the light up underneath the cell,
Yep.
underneath the the table through the layers. It's like I would be interested to actually see them use it.
Right.
Um so that I could get a better idea of how it all works exactly. But the explanation itself was pretty neat.
Yep.
Um,
And they actually tried to draw in uh the the thing that circle away
the windmill.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. The
Mm,
process that they went through, um, in order to make it appear to move convincingly. Like they had to angle the blades, and then they had to depict the wind somehow,
mm.
and all that. The fantasy sequences in this show are not my favorite part.
All right.
I really like the characters themselves more.
Mm,
I mean, they're cool and everything, and I really like some elements of their design, like the fact that they're not completely colored in. It makes it a little bit more impressionistic, a little bit more like artwork come to life,
mm.
and all the moments where they provide the sound effects with their with their mouths.
Yep.
Like when an engine starts going, they'll be like with their lips and stuff.
Yeah.
But I really do think that the characters are the best thing about this show, and so
Hmm.
I like when they are at the center of what's happening.
All right.
I'm back to being obsessed with the characters. Now that we're done talking about ID Invaded.
All right. It's time for us to move on to another characters heavy driven
Show.
series.
What would that
Cheerful.
be?
Cheerful.
Oh boy.
We got the winners.
Yes, we have the well. I mean, Inokuma already won in the previous episode, didn't she?
Yep.
Or am I mixing them up?
No, that's it. She did.
Yeah. So now we know Harada Sensei won.
Oh, spoilers.
Oh no.
I thought it wrong though. I still thought that Arata would make it.
No, there's
Yep.
absolutely no way.
All
After the
right.
conclusion of episode 13, where he literally sees the Meijin through the window, like, and
Yep.
we hear the Meijin say, "I want to play against this guy." The foreshadowing was just too strong.
All right.
But
And
I mean, our Arata did win in another sense.
yep. Hmm. It's great that we see him winning. I think I suppose. Especially when we see all the flashback of him of, 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 of him playing lost in the finals and then put sure on his doctor in like
Right.
a rural area where he can't even play the game. And then when he came back to play the game, his natural sense is basically gone.
Right. There was that whole thing about the hairs in your ear canal,
Yeah.
getting like shorter over time, kind of like with wear.
Yep.
As they're used, they become less sensitive, I guess,
Mm.
and they like physically degrade. So he wasn't able to keep
Pick up
up
the sound.
with the younger players. Yeah, but I don't know. I just have an issue with how this episode depicted the. I really
Yeah.
wanted them to like, for it to come down to the wire, and we would see all the cards getting taken, and it would be like a real nail biter. And I don't think a
Oh,
single match from this season has really done that.
I think that is true.
It's all like, you know, we the closer we get to the end, we start to get like a ton of crowd shots, and the music swells, and we hear the reader read the final card, and you're like, wait, what? How did we skip the last 5 cards?
Yep.
I don't know. It just seems to be wanting to leave an impression of how the match like
And
ended and how it progressed in general, and we don't get.
I I agree with you on that.
Yeah, it feels bad, man. Especially
Uh,
since some of the last things we saw from Harada before we got to the conclusion were him like falling over and stuff, like
yep.
literally falling onto the tatami mat and all the cards getting thrown all over the place.
Yep.
It's just
And
it was not the most graceful Meijin
and
qualifier match of all time.
no, not at all. And because they skip the like the last 4 5 card, like the last shot, the last moments where the two player like seem to hit the same card at the same times, we was wondering like who win and stuff. Whereas if they do it the normal way, we can certainly tell that that who gonna win or lose. So that a, a bit of a cheap way to do that, to making a suspense out of because we don't have enough information to know that who win or lose.
Right. Yeah, because Arata still had like 2 cards left.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so if there had been a fault, as there was,
There
we
would
would have known.
be.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, no, that's not necessarily true because
That's it.
if they both have like 2 cards, then if either of them double faults,
Yeah. That's
um,
gonna be automatically a win or lose. But we didn't know that how many cards that Hirata got as well. Either it's Hirata. Sorry.
right. Yeah, yeah, that's true. We don't know where exactly in the match they are, but you do know that it's the final moment.
Yeah, we do know that.
Um, but the
So
path they take to get there is not like very detailed or like there it's not the right atmosphere. You know,
right. Mm.
like somebody there being a situation where a mistake from either player will cost them the game. You know,
Yeah,
that can be really tense and really exciting. But
that's right.
you do need to create that tension
Mm-hmm.
where it does come down to the wire like that, and like the characters are concerned not only about taking cards from, like defending their own cards, taking cards from their opponent, but also like one. And that's something that Chihaya Fudu doesn't always get into is like the fact that 50 cards out of the 100 are dead every game.
That's right. Um, I suppose that because it's not Chihara as the main characters, they kinda skip all these, all these,
Boo.
step.
Boo. I want to if there's any games that I want to if there's any game that I want to see like, depicted in full, it would be this one.
Uh, Maybe
Because
they save.
then it like all the time that you've put into Harada's character recently like will pay off.
Yep, that's
And
true.
his upcoming match against the Meijin will be like way more important, or will feel more important, because he's just had like this knockdown drag out fight with one of the main characters and has emerged as the winner. And you got to see it happen, like bit by bit. Whereas now it's just like, oh well, he's playing against the Meijin, and that's really awesome and stuff, but I don't have any.
Maybe,
Now I don't have like now my expectations for the Meijin match are not as high.
well, that's true. Maybe they just save the best for the Meijin and the Queen match. This.
I mean, I don't have any confidence
Yeah.
at this point. That that's going to be the case.
Talking about the Meijin, the king, Shuo. Um,
Yeah,
how how do you think about his behaviors for the last few episodes? I
he's
mean, like
weird.
he weird, yeah. He's certainly weird.
Uh,
Um,
I don't know. He's all right. I
he
don't. He speaks really quietly, and I get that that's part of his character. But I think I would like a different sort of vocal performance from his
right.
seiyu in order, like
Mm.
So for example, Sangatsu, the Meijin in Sangatsu
Yep.
is he speaks like so quietly that you can barely hear him.
Hmm.
Uh, whereas in Suo's case, it's like he's speaking quietly in order to do ASMR. It's like it. I don't know. It just seems like a bit of an affectation from his actor.
Right.
Um, I suppose it kind of works in one sense because he's not only like soft spoken, he's also kind of quirky.
Hmm.
So it kind of works in that way, but I don't know. I would just like to hear something a little different from him. I can't.
Right.
I'm not really in a position to dictate his performance though.
I feel it's a bit strange that the show depict him right now as a comedic relief more of his time, and sometimes he can say really smart thing, but like most of the time he's like the quiet, mysterious, and a bit um I don't even know the word to say, accident prone.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, yes, that's true. Because he keeps getting hit in the head with stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Like in this
yeah,
episode, when Tai Chi goes to return the scarf or the
yeah. That's
muffler or
right.
whatever, he gets hit in the head by a ball from Kuma's son.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
It's all connected.
Oh, it's so connected. I didn't even get that.
Yeah,
I
they're
just
playing at the playground because after he says to Suo, like,
yeah,
Chihaya is my girl, you better step off, bro. Uh, Inokuma is there, and
yeah.
she says, "Well,
That was
that was really
mainly of
cool of
you.
you." Yeah, she does. They use the word manly because I think she says kakoi.
Oh,
Uh, yeah. I mean, how could she
um,
not say that? Tai Chi is like a Greek god. That's the way that the show depicts him. He's super smart. He's super handsome. He just can't
and
talk to girls
and
or this one girl.
this one girl, he's
But you
super devoted as well.
Yeah, but you know who can talk to this one girl?
Arata,
Arata, baby. That's my
he
boy.
he confesses. Oh God,
Yeah. I really like that scene.
really? I don't think I like it when they pushing the romance between the two leads.
Well, I mean, the romance is not one of the parts of the show that I care the most about. But I did really like that scene because of the way that just the way it was handled in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's preceded by him asking her, like, what would you have done in my situation if you were playing the match?
Mm-hmm.
How would you have handled the end game? And she says, well, if there was a card I really wanted, I would give it to my opponent and then I would go after it.
Mm-hmm.
I would just pursue it relentlessly. And I mean, he hears her say that and then he takes her advice.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does. He, like, Chihaya is somebody who he wants,
Mm-hmm.
and so he lets her know. Like, he, it seems to me that he's inspired by Chihaya, just like in general.
Mm-hmm.
She's very different than he is. He's kind of quiet, calm, and reserved. She's more passionate.
Uh,
Um,
all right. Another question for you. Do you feel sorry for you?
yes, I hadn't even thought about that until just now when you said that. But damn,
I, uh,
feels
Chihara
bad for
as
you.
Chihara as good as outspoken as she is, never have cooked or waiting and in front of his house for hours maybe.
Yeah, she's
Just
never made a meal that has given him diarrhea. That's
that's
true.
that's true.
Uh,
So so you expect it, best girl for me.
yeah, I mean, there's no question about that. That's obvious. But Chihaya does play Karuta, and she's practically a model. Um, you know,
Yeah.
those are two pluses for Arata probably.
Yeah, but I like it the way that the two older players are the challengers this year, and
Yeah,
a little caution from Shuo to Shinobu about
yeah,
about you should be prepared for the final match, because I think that what did he say?
he compares her to like an apple or something,
A fresh
and
apple and
yeah, and then the persimmon is
yeah,
coming for
that's
you,
right. That's right.
something like that. Or maybe I have those flipped, but he makes some allusion to like
Yep, yep, yep.
two different kinds of fruit, that are about to do battle on a grand stage.
Yep.
uh, and she hears that, and I mean the whole metaphor that he's going for is like really silly. As you mentioned, he's kind of a comic relief character in
Right.
spots, and you get the sense that he, like, what are you talking about, dude? But when she hears him say that, because he's kind of talking up Inokuma.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, when she hears that, she's like the camera cuts to a shot of her looking like stunned,
Mm-hmm.
and she hangs up immediately. Like you can tell that whatever he said had a big impact on her. Like a significant challenger is coming for her,
Yep.
and she really does not want to lose her spot at the top because Karuta is like the one thing that she has. Um, it's the only thing she has. She's like alone at the top. The show always depicts her
Yep.
that way. But
I
I,
love the
I
way.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh, I just said that I love the way that she hang up 3 times before she
Yeah,
actually wanted to hear what she
she's
was gonna say.
she
I
just does
love that.
not want to talk to him. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Go on.
Um, I thought it was a weird way to conclude the episode. Like you have
Mm.
this big match between Haruta and Arata. Their names are so similar.
Yep.
When I say them with like a Gaijin accent, like Harada and Arata.
All right.
That's not any better. Whatever. And then you have the whole thing with the big confession scene.
Yep.
These are two like huge moments, and then the way they concluded the episode I thought was pretty weak. Like
Mm.
just cutting away for a few minutes for a conversation between the Meijin and the Queen. Like I don't know. I get that that's what's coming up.
Yep.
Their two characters are like at the top of the mountain, and that's where we're headed. But
Mhm.
it just didn't feel like the right way to wrap up the episode for me because it was only like loosely related to what came before.
Yeah. Well, I would agree with you on that, but more screen time for Shinobu is somewhere good thing for me. So I'm glad that from now on we can see more of Shinobu and her way of fashion and and just like her personality in general. She's a great character.
I mean, we'll see whether we get more of her. I don't know whether we're gonna jump straight into the Queen match or anything.
Oh yeah, true. Oh, and the Queen's match between two of my favorite characters, Shinobu and Inokuma, would be fantastic.
Well, I mean, hopefully we actually get to see it.
Ah,
And it's not just reduced to practically nothing like Inokuma versus Megumu was in
yep,
the qualifier match.
yep. That's true. Are they playing at the same times? The Queen and the
I
King
don't
match.
know. I have to assume that it's separate. Like it's the
Yeah,
big one.
yeah. It's the big televised matches. So I don't think that they're gonna play at the same times.
Yeah, probably not. We'll see. I don't know.
All right. All right, let's just wrap up with and for the Ace.
Dun,
We
dun, dun, dun,
we
dun,
finally get to
dun.
the end.
Yes.
A lot more ridiculous moments, but this is like the DNA of the show. So, oh,
Yeah.
good.
Episode 23 begins with Hiromi falling into a lake and then stringing up a bunch of clotheslines in her room, like her dorm at this training camp,
Yep.
and then she like wrecks all of it by falling all over everything,
Yep.
and then she's late to her first meeting, and she accidentally brought her cat, who's stowed away in her suitcase. Like, it's like right from the start, it's totally insane.
All right. It's confirmed me two things though that Guemon is indeed a cat because this is the first time that I see him. I see
What do you
her
mean?
meow. I didn't know that
Oh yeah.
that he was a cat or dog.
It,
Uh,
are you serious? I
yeah,
think we
yeah,
actually
like
had this conversation once before.
yeah, that's and and you said to me then that it was a cat, and I was like, oh okay, I'm not really sure though, but
It's
he
clearly a
he
cat.
he still look like a dog to me.
I
And
mean, I have a cat, so
all right, and second thing, I had a cat too, and second thing, that Guemon is not an imaginary pet because apparently anyone can see her now.
Oh
Be-
yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought about the fact that Goemon only appeared. Well, wait, no, didn't Maki have a sleepover at her
on
house one time and she acknowledged Goemon's existence or something?
only Mackie, and I mean like Mackie is also like very unreliable. So
Right.
if the
Yeah,
cat
it
is
could have been a
still,
shared delusion between
yep,
Hiromi and Maki. Yeah.
if the cat only exists in that room, that maybe it's just an illusion.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Like the cat could have been like kind of a symbol, I suppose.
Yep.
I don't know. Like I see the idea that you're talking about. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, it is indeed a real cat, and
Well,
he tags
well,
along for moral support.
actually, Todo still hasn't acknowledged the cat, so maybe it's still an imaginary pet.
No, I'm pretty sure it's real.
All right.
But maybe not. I mean, I don't know. That'd be interesting. Like I rewatch all 26 episodes just for all Goemon scenes, and create a video essay about whatever.
Yep.
Oh, that reminds me. I have to show you the audio
All right.
that my brother did.
Oh, you're right. All right.
But we'll get to that. Just saying the word video made me think of that.
Um, the screenshot that you show me, that have like a number in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I took a screenshot of the same on my video. I couldn't find the number. So maybe it's just maybe because of my video is in a low quality. But
Maybe or maybe that it was removed in another version.
yep.
Like
But
if there was a Blu-ray remaster or something.
maybe. But
I don't know.
that is quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was it was a mark on one of the cells
Yep.
that accidentally got put on there when somebody was tracing something, or I don't know. I don't know how
Yep.
that number would have shown up on the background like that.
Right.
But when I saw that, I was like,
Yep.
oh, it was like, oh, what is it? What does it all mean? It's like a conspiracy, the 49 Lake conspiracy. But it was just a production error. There have been plenty of kind of production goofs in this show, I think,
Yep.
thus far. Like characters' mouths not flapping when they're talking and just stuff like that. But this was like a huge oversight.
Right. And at the beginning of episode 24, we see like total characters. Like his model is really off.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Yeah, he kind of had a little bit of a derp face going on.
Yeah, sorry to say that, but his face was retarded.
What?
It really is.
I didn't think that it actually looked. I don't know. Like it just seemed to me as though the character design was from a different show.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Okay.
like what is what is this image? Yeah. No. Well, I mean, even looking at this, it doesn't look as though he's like inhuman.
All right.
He's got a little bit of of nose action going on.
Yep.
But I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but that there could easily be a show with that sort of design to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
Anyway, yeah, he certainly looked a little bit different.
And
Somebody else was doing the key animation for that scene, I guess. I don't
yeah. And do you realize that whenever they mention about his paper plan or his letters, there will be like a huge flow of wind will coming and take that letters away from Hitomi's pocket.
know. From who?
The letter. So
Oh, wait, her name isn't Hitomi, right? I'm not crazy. It's Hiromi.
oh, Hiromi, sorry, Hiromi. Yep.
I thought I was starting to doubt myself for a second. Who
Yeah.
who is Hitomi? Who's Hitomi?
Yeah, Hiromi.
No, I mean like what character from a show we've watched recently has been Hitomi?
There's a lot of characters. Not really so.
Yeah, okay.
So
I mean, you're gonna get a lot of results, I think.
all right.
But yeah, it's
Irozuku.
Okay.
Remember
All right,
that show?
sure. Yeah, I do. I never finished it.
Oh,
I had like 3 episodes left to go, and I just said, "Screw it."
Or he told me uh from what's that? The comedy show. Um, the Hinamashuri.
Ah, yes. Hitomi
Oh,
is the girl who works at the bar, right?
yep, I love her. All right, all right.
She's 12.
Let's go back
uh,
to Anthony Eyes.
yeah, the you were mentioning like the severe weather that crops up like really suddenly multiple times in these episodes.
That's right.
It was ridiculous. I definitely had a good laugh when the love letter that's she has. Where does she have it? Like in her backpack or her
It
sports bag or something?
no, it was in her jacket.
Ah, yes, and in well Toto's jacket probably,
Right, right.
right?
Oh,
Because she was wearing it and stuff. And
yeah,
then yeah, like it's a perfectly sunny day out at that little training camp, which is surrounded with barbed wire. That at that
yeah.
the visual metaphors in that scene were out of control. The weather coming in, it's suddenly getting like really overcast within 5 seconds, and then the wind coming in and blowing away like the mark of her first love, you
Oh
know,
my god.
and then the barbed wire, like she's imprisoned, like the coach has like a stranglehold on her heart, and he's like, "Give your heart to me, I'm gonna
Yeah.
eat it.
Oh
It's
my
all for
god.
tennis." Rah!
The coach, he's just so terrible in
Yeah.
everything. Now he dared to crush the first love of Hiromi for tennis.
Yeah, it like he's really possessive, and he has this dream. I mean, it's revealed in episode 23 that he's what he wants to do is like take Hiromi to like the next level of tennis, where like within women's tennis, there's a movement to uh, like make it more like men's tennis. I guess they use the
Yep,
phrase "beautiful tennis," like that's on the way out,
yep.
and they're trying to push the
Is it beautiful or is it powerful?
well, beautiful tennis is what women's tennis has been up until this point, and
Oh,
powerful
right.
tennis is what like that's Munakata's goal is to make
Yep,
Hiromi into a powerful player, the same way that Lady Orchid
yep,
is like plays like powerful tennis.
yep, 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 yep.
And I mean, when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, I that's an interesting way to go about things, and it kind of justifies all the secret hope that he had for her character
Mm,
a little bit. Like maybe that was the reason that he saw so much potential in her. Like it could have been like, I don't know, her body shape or her general style of movement, I guess. It could have seemed to him as though she had the potential to play like a man, I guess, or to develop that sort of physicality.
yep.
Um,
Uh,
but we never got that sense up until like the very end of the show.
right.
So
I don't think that's personally. I don't think that's a good way to go. A good direction to head in. But well, because of that, he justified by making her playing a practice match with another boy
yeah,
um, in the rain for some
yeah.
reason.
It's
The
yeah.
kid,
Well, the weather is just crazy at this training camp, man. Like the wind starts blowing out of nowhere, really violently and ominously. The rain appears, and he's like, "Okay, everybody else, go inside so you don't catch a cold. But you two, you're playing tennis, and
keep
you have to
playing.
finish. You have to finish this damn match right now. Do it. Give me your heart."
Oh my god. Yeah. All right. Making her playing with a boys making no sense to me, especially in this camp where like everyone need playing and get result. In order to pick like the 4 or 5 best players for each gender, it just making no sense to me. But let's say for the sake of the narrative that she have to play like a man, that okay, makes sense.
I mean, this was made in the 70s.
right.
This was filmed in the 70s, because it was literally filmed, as we saw in Azokin. The animation
Yep.
camera, like the station that they have there. Anyway, this show was made in the 70s, and that's we're talking like 45 years ago at this point. Uh, so the whole thing about like comparing men and women, and his secret hope for Hiromi's character to be able to play like a man. I mean, this may have been at a point in tennis history, like real world tennis history, when that was the prevailing thought in women's tennis, was like, we're going to change the face of women's tennis by really emphasizing, not like the form, or the gracefulness of it, but the strength
Mhm.
of the characters. And I mean, there are different ways to express that than just you got to be like a man,
Mhm.
But I understand what's being communicated here. Like, he wants Hiromi to reach a physical state,
Mhm.
um, that most women cannot reach and never reach.
All
And
right.
that's the way that they express that is just be like a guy. I get it.
Yep. All right. All right. Do we know the I'm pretty sure that they say the names of the four girl and the five boys that they're gonna choose for the team.
I think you
Uh,
have those numbers backwards. Oh,
is
no,
it
no, I'm sorry. No, I'm wrong. Yeah, it
right?
is, because they're going to choose 10 people. So it is 5 guys, and then they have only 4 girls, and then they're like,
Um,
but nobody else is really impressing us.
yeah. We got Madame Butterfly. I think Lady Orchid is there. You know the other two. Are
No,
they
I
someone that
forget.
we? All right.
They're probably somebody who we've already met.
Right.
Like the girl
Right.
with the really long black hair that covers one eye that Hiromi played against in the past. I think,
Maybe.
like, we got some shots of her. I don't know if she had any dialogue, but she's
Yep.
probably going to be a recurring character, so she'd probably be one of them.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Right.
Uh, Hopefully, Tornado Serve Girl will be
Uh,
coming back, because
yep.
I mean, we already had an extensive discussion about the physics behind her tornado serve, so it'd be a shame if she never appeared again.
uh, so we got like the final match, but I think served as like the perfect ending point for this season. Hiromi against Madame Butterfly. Um, Before going that though, I would say like the pacing, like from the beginning to how it's end. I think I'm alright. I enjoy the pacing. Like it many sport show in the span of like 25, 26 episodes doesn't really go this far compared to After the Ice.
Well, I mean, Aim for the Ace takes somebody who is like hardly knows anything about the sport. She's just
Mhm.
in the tennis club so she can be close to Madame Butterfly.
Yep.
It seems at the beginning. Yeah, and she undergoes a lot of rigorous training. A lot of, you can't go home until you serve a ball 1,000 times. A lot of, do 107 pull-ups, no problem. A lot of that sort of thing. And I don't know. As a result, she gets super strong and super good, I guess.
Yeah.
The athletic
Well.
development is not handled with the most care. But
Right.
there are some good moments to it. I really did like the episode. I can't remember which one it was, but where she realizes that she has to track the ball,
Yep.
like predict where it's going to go and watch her opponent and see where they're going to send it
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
Even
Mhm.
if that should be kind of clear
Yep.
and obvious. Uh, they took care to at least give us a few little pit stops, a few milestones where she got a little bit of a level up or improved some part of her game.
I mean, like judging for current sports show, like even Haikyuu, um, The soccer anime, giant
Giant Killing.
giant killing. You
Well,
know,
those are
like
both different. I mean, those begin with characters who are already proficient at the sport.
yeah, but I mean like, well, when we think of the first season like 20 something episode, we don't see like Hiromi who has gone through a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, I
You
mean that's
Yep,
that's aimed for the ace in a nutshell. Is hear me going through a lot of stuff.
yep, yep. True, it's true.
Wind, rain,
Love letters. A mysterious number 19 in the lake.
49.
49.
49.
Why 49?
That's going to be the final episode. Just
Maybe.
foreshadowing.
All right. Now to the match. Hirumi and Madame Butterfly. I can tell you, Madame Butterfly having a cramp. Remember, like
Yeah.
I think that's like the end of the second set, where
Yeah.
we say have
Yeah.
a cramp, and Hirumi like have her hand
Hands
splattered with
bleeding.
blood, bleeding,
Yeah, and then she
and
tapes it to the racket.
all right. The first thing when you're having a cramp, you cannot stand up and
Yeah.
walk like the
Yeah.
way that Madame Butterfly does. And second thing, when you tie your hands to the racket, you have to change. You basically have to change the grip
Well, you
when you
wouldn't
play
even
forehand.
yeah, you wouldn't even be truly gripping it at all at that point.
That's true.
So I
So
don't
that
even know that you'd be able to get enough like torque on the ball, because then it would be mostly strength like coming from, I don't know, like
your
it wouldn't
bodies.
be like the strength of your whole arm kind
Yep.
of being transferred to your closed fist on the racket and like having a lot of control over it. I don't know. It would seem kind of more like an action figure who has like
Mhm.
a racket in their hand, but you can only move their arm at the shoulder. I just
Yep.
don't see that really working out. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this shows ridiculous. Think about the in these episodes. There's like a one set or like a tiebreaker game between Madame Butterfly and Lady Orchid,
Yep.
where it's like first to 5 points, which I think the show originally sets out to do and then kind of abandons because they start saying like 15 love, even though it was supposed to be like a 9 point tiebreaker. I didn't really get that, but.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous happens in that match. I can't remember what it is. Oh yeah, Madame Butterfly's racket breaks,
Oh yeah,
and then she
yeah.
hits it
Oh,
with like the handle, and,
yep.
and Hiromi's like, "Oh yes, at last I see. You can hit it with any part of the racket."
I can assure you that you can't hit the ball with just the handles. No
What do you
way
mean?
you
Like
can do
it's
that.
illegal, or it's not physically like people wouldn't be able to do it?
People wouldn't be able to do it.
Oh no, you doubt Madame Butterfly's power.
Oh, oh,
You don't understand.
oh my God! Who would drag the whole racket playing tennis like this? And oh my God! Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm glad that you think so because I remember when we first started watching this show, you were like, "Man, this is dumb," but that's part of the appeal.
Yeah.
When you're watching something so hilariously old and like out of touch
Yeah.
relative to just I don't know the standards that we have now or the expectations that we have
I
now, you got to embrace the crazy.
Actually, when I watching the last four episodes, I'm thinking of if they ever read like the remake, just like the Space Battleship Yamato, like with all these new character design, actual the actual tennis rules, and
It just wouldn't be the same.
yeah, I was thinking like would it like have this appeal to me?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like the best moment out of the 26th episode for me is the one moment where Madame Butterfly get hit by the soccer ball in a
Oh
tennis
yeah.
court, but just top everything else.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. What about the car wreck? Wasn't there like
Oh
a
yeah,
car accident?
there was.
Like a little kid runs out into the street and the guy driving Madame Butterfly's car
Yep,
crashes into a building or something, and then you're not sure whether she's going to show up on time for the tournament,
yep.
but she does.
See this. Yep, that's amazing as well. Or we have like the spies with wearing a
The trench
sunglasses at
coats.
night.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there. I mean, honestly, this is some top tier comedy right here.
Right.
All modern comedies have nothing on Aim for the Ace.
Yeah. Um.
Pop Team Epic, Asobi Asobase, just they just disgust me. You know, that's like utter crap compared to the gloriously scripted,
Yeah.
hilariously over the top nature of Ace wo Nerae.
Yep. Um. Will you be interested in watching the sequels anytime in the future, or that's gonna be it for you?
And any time in the future, sure. Right now,
Mm.
no, I have no plans
Yep.
to watch it. But I think I will eventually. You know, it's like I'm curious. Like I'm less curious about its importance to like anime and manga as a whole because
Yep.
I'm sure it's a very influential franchise and stuff. But I'm just curious to see like how it would change going into like a film or a second season or whatever. How would the
Mm-hmm.
designs change? How would the general tone of the series change? Would it become more serious?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how would it evolve just in its general style, I guess.
Yep.
Following the story and like watching Hiromi ascend to the highest levels of the world stage or whatever the plot would end up being. I'm less interested in that and more just interested in how would Aim for the Ace itself kind of change in a different format or at
Yep.
a future date.
Mm. All right. Um. Another note I want to make is the last. I think the last 4 or 5 episodes. I came to realize Madame Butterfly again. I think I like her as she is now.
What do you mean? As
Uh,
opposed to before?
yeah, like there was a time that she really outright hating Hiromi,
Yeah.
and I think I remember telling you that she was brought down by Hiromi level. Now now I think she's good. She's the kind of of the top characters who can be reached, except for the last map when she lost to Hiromi. But I like her character that way.
Yeah. I mean, she's more human, I suppose, when she's not just the object of everybody's admiration, or when
Hmm.
she's not, the villain.
Yep.
You know, when she's more familiar, and relatable, I suppose. Somebody who doesn't seem to be like written as from another planet.
Yep. Yep. All right. Um, you got any like final closer thought on
Man, I
after
took a
the ice
ton
or
of
anything
notes,
else?
man. There's tons of stuff
Oh, cheers.
that I have here,
All right.
but we can just leave all that out. I don't know.
Go
But
on.
a lot of it was criticizing the coach, like
Oh my God,
in
the
episode
coach.
23
He's
that
terrible.
he before we learned anything about his plan for turning Hiromi into a man and stuff. Uh, he makes a declaration that like all of his plans and all of his dreams will vanish if Hiromi doesn't clear the first selection round, like if she doesn't become one of the 10 players.
Yep.
He says his dreams will vanish. And when I heard that, I was like, what on earth could his dreams possibly be? Then we find out like what his secret plan is. I don't know, like the there's a shot in episode 23 right before the act break, right
Mhm.
before the eye catch, where he says that like all my dreams are gonna vanish if you don't blah blah blah, and then there's like a wave of lava behind him. I don't know if you remember this shot,
I remember
but
that.
yeah, that like I've seen a lot of older anime series that have like a character, for example, standing near the ocean. They're like on a patch of rocks, and then a wave will crash behind them, you know, and we'll get like the postcard memories type of freeze frame.
Yep.
I think it was probably Dazaki himself who popularized that image. But in this one, it's like a volcano is erupting behind him. Only there's no volcano; it's just the lava. I that was one of the most over the top moments in the entire show, and it was just like a still image.
Yep.
It was just so hilariously out of place. Um, you know, and the way that the show has everyone come around to his character, like Hiromi says at one point, "I can't betray the coach," you know, and
Yep.
when he goes to talk to Toto and says, "Oh no, Hiromi's not coming. She can't be with you right now because she has to, you know, do tennis and stuff. She has to beat tennis
Yes,
girls."
I understand.
Yeah, he was
As
like,
long
"Yeah,
as I play
don't worry about
tennis,
it,
I will
bro."
wait for her.
Yeah. He's like, oh, he's like falling down and worshiping the coach practically. Like, oh yes, yes, whatever you say, sir. Uh,
Man.
I mean, in the end, like, but he's. I mean, there's a moment in episode 24, like a lot of whenever he sees Hiromi and Toto together, we'll get like a super close up on his eyes.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and like it probably happened 4 or 5 times near the start of episode 24. The show was very blatant about it, and it in the last of those scenes, like the whole screen goes red, as though he's like watching them really enviously or like
Yep.
angrily.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I thought for sure the show was like committing to him being a total like jerk and like a manipulative creep, you know, which is what he was being. But no, instead, I guess the whole screen turning red as he was observing this behavior between his pupil and her love interest was supposed to be like he was super concerned that he wasn't going to be able to turn her into the best tennis player ever, and he was in the right the entire time. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
if viewed through one lens, he's making all these terrible decisions and his character is just awful and hateable. But viewed through another lens, it's all part of the unintentional comedy.
Yep.
You know, like how could the show be this tone deaf? Well, it's it's
Right.
that's the entire series.
Yeah. Well, apparently that I think that's one of the reason why the tone deaf. That's one of the reason why that the show is so influential for this time.
Is it? Is
Yeah.
that really one of the reasons why it's endured for so long? Is just because it's so hilariously like over the top?
Yeah, I do think so. I do think that they embrace the all the tropes like to the end of their lives, so that it actually inspire others to try the same.
I don't know, dude. I think the appreciation for this series in Japan is probably less ironic than that. I think it's like, you know, it's like the female version of Ashita no Joe or something.
All right.
But I mean, for me, it's just you know, it's occasionally dramatic and occasionally fun, but a large part of it is like just silly.
Yep.
And but it's a sort of silliness that you can sit back and you know, you can just
Enjoy.
watch it unfold, and yeah, you can just have a good time just
That's
watching it
right.
be absolutely insane.
Yep.
And there's the, you know, that's a legitimate way to enjoy something. It's
Yep.
just let the craziness wash over you.
That's right. That's true. All right. I think that. All right. I
I
will
think we're
wrap.
about done. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I think that's about the end of our podcast this week. Next week we're gonna have a week off.
Yep.
So we will come back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And we're gonna figure out what will replace Aim for the Ace.
Yep, that's right. All right. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye bye.